It's flat. It's mostly swamps and tundra. It's nice and relaxed, nice and quiet. Before, we used to live in a little trailer, a 2-bedroom trailer that really wasn't made for Alaska. It's had a lot of wind change, a lot of air exchange. We've been here since August, and we've got to experience everything from spring to winter to fall in here, and then none of it's come inside. It made my life a lot easier, a lot more comfortable.
We pick berries a lot, have picnics. We just grew up with that freedom and a security of community, and we want to continue that lifestyle. That's a lifestyle for us.
There's a really big need of housing out here. There's 14 applicants and only 5 houses. So there was 9 other people that don't have the housing that they need.
Well, most villages, you have people that move out, but our kids are staying here. They don't have the money or to build their own housing. They need to have some kind of program where, either HUD comes in or some kind of loan program is set up so that the younger kids would be able to afford to get their own home. Because you see so many villages losing their schools because of people moving out. And if we don't have housing, that's going to happen to us too, because everybody wants their space, their own house. So housing is really important in the community.
In the early days, about the only housing that was being constructed in Bush, Alaska was by BIA or by private citizens building their own homes. And the private sector really wasn't going out into Bush, Alaska. It was primarily too expensive to do so. And it wasn't until the early 70s that the Alaska State Legislature saw that the housing needs in Bush, Alaska were not being met, and they passed a law that empowered the regional housing authorities to be the housing entity for geographic regions across the state. We've commissioned a number of housing needs assessment studies. The most recent one was done in 2009. And in that study, we estimated that there was a need for 12,940 units statewide.
The name of our Saxman Senior Center is Shan Hidi, which in Tlingit means home or housing for elders. Our population is aging as quickly as everywhere else. The big priority for us in our small communities is that without these facilities we would lose a lot of our elders and a lot of our knowledge, and a lot of that traces right back to our culture and the survival of our communities. So we wanted to create facilities that could help keep our elders in our communities. I know that right now we have at least 300 people on our waiting list to get into some type of housing. The broader challenges that we're facing is aging facilities. A lot of these were built in the 70s, and old technology, not very energy efficient. And so we've had to expend a lot of our energy and resources in trying to modernize our homes, given the high cost of energy. And the high cost of energy, not just heating the home, but leads to higher costs for us in transportation and getting materials and maintaining our units. The challenges with constructing the facility in Saxman, one, it is built on the side of a mountain, and so there was a lot of geographic, topographical issues that we had to overcome, which added to the costs. We also here in Alaska are limited to a 6 or 7 month building season. And again, that's all requires a lot of advanced planning, and a lot of that adds to our costs.
First of all, we live in the coldest state in the Union. Construction methods are different here, as they should be. If done properly, you can conserve energy to a large degree, but if not, and in this case we're talking about replacing substandard housing and old housing that's been cycled through the community for a long time, not very efficient housing at all. So we have a real concentrated effort in looking at energy efficiency design features in all of the homes. And to add to that is the recent increase in cost of energy.
There was a devastating fire in 2006 that destroyed approximately 13 residential units, a school, some teacher housing as well, a power plant, and also numerous other structures. As a result of that, we started to explore the possibility of developing a multifamily development. Hooper Bay is situated in a remote part of Alaska, and the community itself lacks infrastructure. There is no harbor there. The roads are somewhat limited. The high cost of delivery of materials from Seattle is very costly.
We have geographic regions in our state that are close to the water table and have unstable soil conditions. In many cases, homes are built on what we call post and beam foundations that are above the ground, sitting on top of frozen permafrost. Very difficult to design and maintain those kinds of houses on a moving surface that thaws and freezes by virtue of the season. Other areas, for example, in the southeast and along the coast, which have relatively milder climates, comparatively speaking, the problem there is bedrock. Almost everything below the surface is on bedrock. So anytime we have to put a water and sewer system in, you're talking about huge expense.
It was that classic neighborhood of last resort, not a place where people choose to live. So we came with the idea of being a catalyst for that change, changing perceptions, changing the reality of where people live, using the neighborhood as really a canvas, and taking the good characteristics of this neighborhood and making it something it used to be, but even better.
I liked the location. It was near downtown, but yet I could afford to live here. And I liked the idea of it being a neighborhood where I could walk to places, restaurants and stores. The cook-inlet housing homes are affordable and also really good quality.
It's okay for us to say that it looks better and it feels better, but people really want to know, how do you know it's really changing? So as we look at Mountain View, we see that the population is up over 18% since 2000. That tells us that people are choosing to live in Mountain View. We see the median income levels are up, property values are up, and the average tenancy or residency of people that live here, half the population here has lived here for 5 years or more. That tells us that the neighborhood is stabilizing. They're banking where they didn't have a bank before. They're walking to the grocery store, and they're seeing Mountain View with a different lens. They're seeing it as not just an older neighborhood that had really ugly buildings, but they're seeing it now as a neighborhood where people are thriving, and they're younger families, and they're really living here with intention.